Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we're going to be discussing Virgins, one of your Christmas episodes you didn't get, but that's what we're going to be talking about. So, there are 4 people that we're going to be discussing in this episode. Or not 4 people, sorry. 4 people in total. This is being split in 2 episodes. So the first episode is going to be Alex and scrolling down, and Rasha. And then in the next episode, it will be, what was her name? Sonali, I think, and that other one that I don't like. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So let's start off, y'all. Let's start off with Alex. I love him. Can I say, I love him. I think he's a sweetheart. Anyways, he's 34. His room has a workout station. He has a guitar. He's still trying to learn that. He has a grooming station, y'all. And beside that station is a pinup calendar that's been set at August. I don't know what month it is currently, but anyways. Could he bring a girl home? Well, sure. Would he? No, because of his parents, y'all. He said, "This is my bed. This is where the magic happens. But for me, it doesn't. Yeah, well, magic. Yeah, I guess so." He says he will talk to his older sisters about women. He doesn't feel comfortable talking to his parents. So we meet his sisters, who are interesting, to say the least. And they are like, took you long enough. You took so long to get here, blah, blah, blah. They're just picking on him, where it's like, you're not helping here. We're not talking about a man who hasn't had a date in 5 years or, whatever. This is a man who hasn't been laid ever, you know? He's about 6 years away from being Steve Carell and 40-year-old virgin. You know what I mean? More on that later. So, they say, when are you going to cut your hair? Because my God, y'all, this guy looks like he's about seconds away from looking like Bigfoot. He has hairy back, hairy chest, hairy legs, hairy, probably everything. Hairy, long hair, beard. It's just hair. And listen, hair is fine, but I think like you need to be groomed. I don't, you know, anyway. And he says the furthest I have gone is touch a vagina on the outside of the pants for like 2 seconds. Is that really a base? Or was it like you maybe accidentally touched it? You know, like boop, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, even before I started having sex, I feel like I touched a penis longer than that. Anyways, it's just, that's it. I, I don't want to judge, but that's it. Anyway, he says in high school, some girl asked, this was horrible. Kids suck. He says in high school, some girl asked me if I wanted to go out. So he said, yeah, he was into it. He meets them, and her friends were laughing at him. Apparently, she was dating another guy, and he got rejected a lot in college as well. So now he just doesn't feel he feels he can't approach women. And I understand that. Like, listen, we've all been through things. You know what I mean? I've when I think about like the things that I've endured, it's I've been told, I had a guy pretend to be my boyfriend for 5 seconds or some shit. We don't need to talk about it. Um, and I've had people do similar things like that. It didn't stop me, but there's clearly a blockage for him. And maybe he needs to talk to a therapist. I don't know. His last date was 12 years ago when he was 22. He's at a bar with his sisters. This was cringe. But he has no game. His sister says that there are some potential, so go talk to them. Some girls over there at the bar. He's okay at first, and then it gets awkward. But he ends up saying, next round is on me. Then he goes back and he talks to one of them. Her name's Courtney. He's into her a little bit. He asks questions, and then he just shuts all the way down. It's hard to watch. And it's all awkward. He's like, I had another question, but he says it's like directly to her. I had another question, but I forgot what it was. What time is it? I want to hug him and be like, it's okay. Like, we're not going to bite. You know what I mean? Poor guy. So sister, I don't know their names, has arranged speed dating with a little bit of a twist. This is speed dating with tantric yoga. That's weird. I don't want to do tantric yoga type stuff with a complete stranger, but whatever. And he's doing all right. He's hugging girls, massaging shoulders. Like, this is the most I've touched women. Then he meets Andrea, and he's all about her. They sit, they hold hands, they're leaning back and forth. Like, they seem to be really into each other. They do like a sitting down trust fall. So a woman, if he wants to see, so the woman, if the woman wants to see this person again, that they're the man, they will drop like a bead into a bag on the man or pretend to if they don't want to. And Andrea definitely did put a bead in his bag. We'll confirm whether or not that's what happened. So the results of that speed dating, he got 5 matches out of 12. Good for him. And one of them was, of course, Andrea. And of course, he was feeling her. So they've been texting back and forth. And he asked her out on a date. And she said yes. But before his date, he's going to finally do the thing that his sister maxed him about in the beginning of the season. He's going to go get a makeover. He's going to get his hair cut. And not only his hair cut, we are going to rip a scene right out of 40-year-old version and going to be doing a wax. He does not necessarily yell, Kelly Clarkson, but close. Because he is definitely hating life during this waxing. People outside are laughing because they can hear him. And then, this is so good. The waxer is like, we're going to need more wax. Like, she's so defeated. Like, she must have had a full tub of wax. And all that has been done is his back. And I'm thinking, or no, sorry, not his back, his stomach. And which he did not handle well. I feel like the back would be easier. You know what I mean? But he's like, nah, no, thank you. I'm so good. So she's like, okay, so no hot tubs and no saunas and no sex for about 24 hours because it can cause chafing. I was like, okay, good to know. That's not going to be a problem, ma'am. You don't even know what show he's being filmed for. So we see him getting ready and we get the reveal. And y'all, he's looking so good. Like, he's really attractive, actually. Like, when I saw the reveal for the first time, I'm like, okay, Alex. Like, he's hot, actually. I'm like, oh my God, what a makeover can do. Jeez. So Andrea is loving it because she's also thinking he's hot. They go-karting, but the date is going really well. They will be going on another date. And he also didn't tell her about his quote unquote situation. Yeah. So Andrea, we see her coming by his place. He had to beg his parents to leave because you can't be here when I have a girl coming over. She said when she gets there, she's like, oh, your place is cute and it's cozy. It's mom's decorating. Your family is on the wall. That's really sweet. Yeah, because this is his family home. We take her to his room and he forgot to take the calendar down. that has been stuck on August with the pinup girl. So he tells her, "Yeah, so I have something I need to tell you. Not that I'm a virgin. This is actually my childhood home." Okay. I live with my parents. Oh. Oh, yeah, and here's the other thing. I also have never had sex with a woman before. I'm a virgin. Hmm. Okay. She says that took a lot of encouragement. She's like, I have compassion for him. But she says, I would love to see you again. Do you? Do you? More on that. He says, I really like you a lot. And he hugs her. And he does try to kiss her. And she stops him. You're done. And she says she wants to get to know him before they go do that. This is done. Because in the next scene, he's meeting Andrea via Zoom. And she says, Hi, Alex. Yeah, so I'm going to be traveling out of the country for about a month and a half. I'm going to Egypt, far the fuck away. But she's like, I want to cultivate a friendship with you since I'm not going to be here for a month and a half. I think we'll be better off as friends. Ma'am, you're going to Egypt for a month and a half. Is it crazy for me to be like, it's just a month and a half? You'll be back. We could pick up where we left off. This is done. So he's going on another date now with this girl named Lauren. He's been going on dates with her, and now he's bringing her around the sisters. She, however, does not know that he is a virgin. When she gets there, he asks, What would you like to drink? Wine. So he walks off and he's like, Oh, wait, what type of wine do you like to drink? Red, white, rosé? What do you like to drink? His sister is like, Yeah, you gotta ask red or white, sir. He just fucking did. This is when his sisters annoyed me. This is when I'm like, he just did it. He didn't need you to come back and say some shit. The fuck? Anyways, he does have no game. It's true, but his sisters suck. So he asked Lauren later on if she would like to go away for the weekend with him, and she said yes. I'm gonna have a lot to say though. So they're going to this nice little getaway. He says, I searched a romantic getaway on the internet, and this is the first link, and I just booked it. And immediately upon entering the reception, you can tell this is going to be a lot. We get to the room, there is a heart-shaped pool, and like we entered into the naughty, it was a naughty girl Beyonce video, there is a martini glass hot tub at the top of the room and a round bed that spins and a mirror on the ceiling. We all watch Fifty Shades of Grey. We know the benefit of a mirror on the ceiling. What the fuck did he book? No, I'm gonna save it. The only normal thing is the fireplace. That's it. She's questioning, what is going on here? Ma'am, I do have questions. Um, Usually when someone asks if you want to go away for the weekend, you probably think something's bound to happen. Maybe she did think that something was going to happen and she was maybe potentially okay with that. Maybe not. I don't know. I can't speak to it. But personally, if I haven't even kissed him yet, I am not going to go away with him on a weekend getaway. I'm just not doing it. Not to shame her. I just have questions. Anyways, he is hopeful that something might happen, sir. And just in case, he did shave his downstairs. Just in case. Okay. She admits that the room is a bit overwhelming, but in this moment, he is like, there's something, I gotta tell you. And he does tell her, so I'm still a virgin. And he says, I like you and I want to do something romantic. But what he doesn't say is that there are no expectations because with everything that we've seen so far, the heart-shaped pool, the martini glass, the round bed, and the mirror on the ceiling, She's thinking we're just here to have sex. Um, I think it would have gone a very, very long way if he said, yes, I'm a virgin. So yeah, and I understand the atmosphere that we're in, but no expectations on my part. I didn't fully understand what I was booking. It would have gone a long way. Things would have gone so different here for him because for her, because it's mentioned for her, she's putting everything together and being like, oh shit, he just wants to lose her virginity. That's all he wants to do. But she says it could be his lack of experience because it was a nice gesture, but they do head back to the room together. So they're at that room and they're going to the pool, but they get to the pool and he gets in, but she only puts her feet in. So that's again like she's distancing herself from him. But she is having a realization that she's just not ready for this, that they are not ready for this. It's been too soon. She knows his intentions are pure, but she would just be more comfortable having her own room where the bed potentially could spin, but the only person in the bed and the only person reflecting from the mirror on the ceiling is going to be her. And he is realizing that I went too fast too soon. The poor thing. Um, but I think at this point we get on screen text here with him. After the romantic weekend getaway, Alex and Lauren went their separate ways, but he's back on the apps and he's ready to lose his V card should the opportunity arise. And you know what? I hope it did. I hope he's out here being like, God damn, that's what I was missing. I do. I really do. I hope that for him. But anyways, that's Alex. Let's move on to the last person we're going to be talking about in this episode, and that's Rasha. So she's 42. She does vlogs, and she calls her vagina Big Purr. Purr. Because she doesn't like to use the word pussy, so she says Big Purr. Okay. She doesn't feel comfortable, as I said, he's saying pussy. So, um, she's like, I've never done a French kiss. Never had someone touch her down there. If touch Big Purr. She sees a sex therapist, and her sex therapist is like, what's a fantasy you have? She says, well, my fantasy is a bed with white sheets. She has a blindfold on, y'all. And he's hitting it from the back shots, doggy style, whatever you want to call it. And then she's taking it like only a woman would. And he's also going down her own same time. Whatever. He's going down. I guess he's hungry. Fucking love her. Okay. He's hungry. She says, I see myself as submissive. Same, girl, same. Anyway, what made you interested in that since you're a virgin? Like, you've never experienced sex, much less be a submissive. And she's like, I watch porn. True. I mean, let's be real. Anastasia still hadn't had sex either. And damn. Anyways, you know what? That's it. Y'all, that's it. She watched 50 Shades of Grey and thought, I could do that. That's what happened. Anyway, she says, I didn't find men attractive until my mid-20s because of my self-confidence, which I feel really bad about. Is it that she didn't find men attractive, or was it just, she was protecting herself? But we find out a big doozy, y'all. Big one. One that when we watch the commercials, I'm like, wait, what? Here we go. We find out that she was married before. So here's the story. He was an international student from Korea. She married him so that he could stay in the States. They lived together, but they just never had sex. They never seemed to share a bed together. She would try, but he would never go near her. They ended up getting divorced 10 months later. So this was a green card situation. She wants to be with someone who she can feel safe, releasing her, I think her wild side. I think that's what I wrote here. It auto-corrected. So, she lives with her well, no, I say her parents, but it was her mom. She lives with her mom. But her mom is like, "Why not tell them that you're a virgin right away? Because mama, ain't no man who's in their 40s potentially wants to hear a woman say that she's a virgin. Men don't wanna deal with that, that's why." Her sister is like, "Pardon? Of course she can't just lead with that." You know what I mean? Her mom is like, "I am so proud of Rasha still being a virgin." "She ain't though, mama. She's not." You know what I mean? We show her some potentials. One is tall, we like that, towering over us while, you know, we's doing what we do. Same girl, same. My man is 6'3". I'm 5'1". Anyway, so no, but okay. Can I bring a man back? Hell nah, Rasha. You can't be bringing men back to your mom's house. She's like, "That's okay. I'm just joking. I think I'm too loud anyway." How do you know you haven't had sex? Okay. She's on her way to this date with a guy named Zach. Zach is like, she's more than beautiful. He's into her style. Then she drops the bomb, the V bomb. Okay. And she's like, "Are you okay with that?" He's like, I don't know. Because that's a lot for a man to deal with. But anyways, he says the only thing that worries him is about any damage from previous relationships. Like, why are you a virgin? Basically, I think is what he's trying to get at. But he says, listen, no worries. We'll break that boundary down. Whew. She liked that too. Apparently, said a big perm. Anyways, so things have happened with Zach after that date. There were red flags, she says. She sent selfies of herself in Halloween costume. And he said, looks fun. So she tried to set up a date with him at the selfie room. I also wouldn't be into this shit, but whatever. He says, "I will see you tomorrow for this stupid selfie shit." She took that as disrespectful because she's like, I took time, which I understand. Took time to plan the date and you disrespect it like that. I do get that. So she's done with Zach. In the next scene, she's going to this place called Club Kink. You heard me correctly? Club Kink. To explore her sexuality. So the guy, his name is Scarecrow, not to be confused with Scarecrow from Wizard of Oz or anything, but Scarecrow. He's like, "Let's get you tied up." And he's tied her up. He's flogging her. She's loving life right now. It was something that she needed all of her life. I swear to gosh, she orgasmed, y'all. Then she gets suspended, and then he brings a vibrator out and just starts kind of vibrating the ropes because that would be unhygienic if he did it anywhere else. But anyways, that's kind of her experience at Club Kink, and she loved it. Big Purr was purring. Okay, so she is going to be going on her selfie showroom date with this new guy we've met named Jeremy. When she goes on a date, she likes to spray her between the legs. Big purr, just in case. Sure. So, um, she says we don't know where their head is going to go. Ma'am, I'm just going to say this. Maybe this is a little gross, but let's go here. You can spray Big Purr on the outside all you want, but if there is a stench, the spray ain't gonna help no more. I'm just saying. Just saying. But anyways, Jeremy is a little bit of a he's short king. And she says, it doesn't bother her, but she wants a tall, rugged man who is gonna tower over her. Because she likes. Yum. Anyways, so as she says, which I didn't like this, she says manly type. Don't like that. M- Man is a man, whether they are short, tall, or whatever. A man's a man. Except for Cody Brown. That's a whole other thing, though. So, but he was cute. Like, oh, No man wants to hear that shit. Then all of a sudden he says, this place kind of reminds me of a BDSM dungeon. Rasha was like, I'm sorry, what? I'm over here being like, wait, what? The camera people are like, did you plan this? Does he know? And she says, what are the odds? Because I went to this place called Club Clink the other day. And he's like, oh, yeah. And it turns out, y'all, hold on to your butts because this guy says he's been a part of the lifestyle for 15 years. Wow. Wow. He says that he loves spanking. Okay. All right, Jeremy. I like to be spanked by my boyfriend, but I'm just saying same. Anyway, then she drops the bomb the V bomb, that she's a virgin. And he says, well, that's amazing. Now, he meant amazing, like, good for you. Clappy, clappy. But it gave me Christian Grey vibes, where he's like, where have you been all my life? Kind of like that. Anyways, we are going on a second day with Jeremy at his place this time. He's cooking dinner. She does not know what BDSM stands for, although she wants to be a part of the BDSM world. She thinks it stands for booty, dick, sex, and moaning. No. Even I know that's not what it stands for. But them they do a little show and tell. He's just a little show and tell for her. Then he starts spanking her, and she's like, that hurt. Okay, spanking in not a sexual sense tends to hurt a little bit, just a little. But in a sexual sense, it doesn't hurt. Don't ask me why, but that's just how it is. Those people who have sex, y'all understand. Anyway, but then we use other things, other toys, but she's not sure about him. She's like, this is fun, this is great, but she's just not as attractive to him as maybe she wants to be. She's like, it's not as sexy with Jeremy as it is in porn because porn's fake. Porn's not real. That's why he's not going to be like that. Anything you think BDSM is, it's not that way in porn. At least I don't think so, but it's not going to be that way. She said she wants more domination. Okay, well, good luck finding somebody else because this was a dime a dozen. You're never going to get this again. you know? And if you do, you're going to be waiting a long time for it. Anyways, so she sees her therapist and filling her in, and the therapist is like, you have created an unrealistic vision of what you want, and coupling that with porn, and you are completely writing off poor Jeremy in the process. Because she has an idea of what a man should look like, what a man should be, how a man should act during the act, and all of it, all the other pieces coming in together. But that's not what sex is. That's not what real life is. That's not, those things don't exist. You know, you might watch porn and be like, wow, that guy's dick is massive, or that guy can go a really long time, or whatever the case may be. But you want to know the reality of it? They're taking breaks in between, y'all, most likely. And they might be on some serious drugs, to keep up or whatever. And it's not reality. I mean, it's not. Anyway, um, in this moment, she's like, I'm thinking about your marriage, is what the therapist is saying. Because of that, you are holding others accountable, for that, and that's not fair. You need to open yourself up a bit more to allow the right person into your life. Amen to that. So she's going to be going to, try something else new. She's going to be going to a sex resort with her friend. She's currently talking to this one guy named William. Not like Williams, not the Williams, but William. But it's not exclusive yet. So she did invite William to the resort. So yeah, we'll be seeing him in a little bit. So we get there, and there's just tits, vag, and peen about everywhere you look. The room is Candyland themed. I don't get it. But anyways, so she has been asked by two couples to join them. Get it, have some fun. She declined, however, because she's a virgin and she probably doesn't feel comfortable doing that. And she saw a guy with his dick out and she's like, it was big, y'all. I don't know what you do with that, honey. You play with that. That's what you play. That's what you do. But that's what I would do. I'm different. Not different, but different for her. You get it. They are going to be heading to the club. Hopefully, William will make an appearance. But then, here he comes. He's cute. He's also a short king. And they kiss with tongue, her first French kiss. And she says, it was good. So they head back to her room. Her friend is she'd probably put a sign up on there being like, don't disturb. But, yeah. Did they or didn't they? Well, with the end credits for her, Rasha and William have yet to seal the deal. Until they do, she continues to give herself permission to explore new things and keep Big Purr fed, whatever that means. But anyways, that's it for Rasha. And that is it for this episode. So stay tuned. The next episode, we'll be talking with Sonali and that other one I don't like. So we'll be closing it up with them there. But until then, y'all, that is it for this episode. If you liked what you heard, bear with me because I have not done an outro for the podcast in quite some time. So bear with me here. So if you liked what you heard, you can go to any of your favorite podcast apps. You can follow, make sure you don't miss a single episode. And you can also rate the podcast at either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It'd be greatly appreciated. As a reminder, any 5-star ratings that are given to the podcast or any comments that are given to the podcast will be read on the podcast, which I have done in the past. If you want to connect with the podcast through social media, you can find me at Facebook and Instagram at Reality T ×2. You can also find me at Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Reality ×2 Pod. I believe you can email me at realityt2@hotmail.com, and you can have any inquiries, anything like that, any ideas, any shows or episodes you want me to cover, you can definitely do that over there. And I am going back to our old website, and that is at solo.to/reality T ×2. There you can get any of the links to anything that I didn't mention here, any of the socials, website, email, all of that. It's all there for you. And we also have a new thing there where you can help support the podcast as well. It's called a tip jar. And you can tip whatever your heart's desire if you want to support the podcast, but don't want to necessarily support the podcast in going to Patreon, for example, or any of the links in any of the advertisements. You can do it there. But since we're on the topic of Patreon, you can head on over to patreon.com/reality T ×2, where there you can get access to even more than what I do here. There are 3 different tiers where you can get these shows ad free, as well as our next tier up where you would get another reality show that's being covered. So, we have Jersey Shore that's been getting covered. That's still being covered currently at the time of recording of this outro, but the future is bright with what's to come in the future, which I will be discussing, or I have discussed. I don't even know. And then also our next tier is a true crime tier as well. So you can definitely head over for that. But that is basically it. I will also just quickly mention here too, if you're interested in a different take of a podcast that I'm a part of, we do things a little differently. You can head on over to Next Take Podcast, where I usually drop bonus episodes here on this feed, but there you get a lot more. And that podcast is making changes. We're growing, doing new things, but you can definitely head on over there if you want to just hear a little bit different than what I do over here. So you can find that podcast over at our website, solo.to/next take podcast. And there we'll have all the links to your desire that will link you to any of your favorite podcast apps or YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of it. Social medias, it's all over there. But of course, you can still find that podcast at any of your favorite podcast apps. But that is it for this episode. We'll see you next time with another episode. Bye, everybody.